Raquel Evita Saraswati, who claimed Arab, South Asian, and Latin descent, has been outed by her own mom, saying that she is white as driven snow. I thought this would be a pretty interesting article to check out. So, the senior inclusion officer of a Philadelphia based social justice group has been lying about her ethnic identity for years, claiming she is a woman of color despite being as white as the driven snow, her mother alleges. Raquel Evita Saraswati, 39, who was born Rachel Elizabeth Seidel, is the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer of the American Friends Service Committee, which fights violence, inequality, and oppression, The Intercept reported. The Muslim activist, who has access to files of the progressive Quaker group's workers and volunteers, has claimed for years to be of Latin, South Asian, and Arab descent. But her mother, Cara Perone, said Sarasti is actually of British, German, and Italian descent. I call her Rachel. I don't know why she's doing what she's doing, Perone told The Intercept. I'm as white as the driven snow, and so is she. And my only assumption, personally, is that she probably did this to, one, feel more important than she actually is, two, get hired in a very specific position, right? Because who knows how much she's actually getting paid, but she's basically got a job in a place that may not necessarily require it for her to be of a certain skin color or certain background, but they are more probably likely to hire someone of color other than someone who is white as snow. So she added, I'm German and British, and her father was Calabrese Italian. She's chosen to live a lie, and I find that very, very sad. And personally, I don't really understand why someone would try to literally change their ethnicity or portray that they are of a different ethnicity. It's like, do you just like hate your own race that much? Like, do you hate what you are, genetically speaking, your heritage, all that kind of stuff, to that extent? Or are you just wanting the attention? Are you just wanting to make money? Is this what you're willing to do for money? Like, that seems kind of like sketchy. So Perun said her daughter converted to Islam in high school and for some reason felt compelled to present a different ethnic identity. Like, here's the thing. If she felt compelled to present a different ethnic identity, like if she truly believes that she belongs to that ethnicity when she's not, wouldn't this be more of like a mental health issue more than anything else? Now, personally, I think this is more of a money thing, an attention thing to feel more important than she actually is. But who knows? It could be a mental health thing. So the mother shared with the Intercept photos that show Sarasti with a far lighter complexion when she was a child, as well as her Ancestry.com profile, and she asked the outlet not to publish the images. Another family member, who asked not to be identified, confirmed to the Intercept that Sarasti is white. Okay, so apparently she's also wearing a shirt that says, I'm rooting for everybody black and trans. This is like a woke person. Interesting. Oscar Pierre Castro, a human resources official who helped AFSC hire Sarasti, was told she was a queer Muslim multi ethnic woman, according to the news outlet. Wow. You're trying to hit like basically every single box. In my mind, it was Great. A person of color, a queer person of color who happens to be Muslim, it's a woman, all these things, and someone who seemed to get it. Castro told The Intercept. I definitely feel conned. I feel deceived, he added. So basically, she like easily fooled this dude because it was basically like a situation where it's like, yeah, she just literally checks every single like main woke point box. It's just crazy. AFSC rep Lane Mullet told the outlet that the organization has received documentation alleging that our Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer, Raquel Saraswati, has been misrepresenting her identity. Mullet said Saraswati stands by her identity. Raquel also assures us that she remains loyal to AFSC's mission, which we firmly believe. Which, now, the funny thing about this, right, is like she got hired basically because she checked off every single one of those major boxes, right? But the thing is, wouldn't people of that political spectrum be really ticked off that basically a white girl took the job of a potential person of color, a potential queer person, a potential Muslim, right? Wouldn't they get really pissed off that she's basically altering her skin tone to portray a specific ethnicity that she doesn't belong to? Like, wouldn't they be kind of pissed off by that? I just find it a little bit funny. Listen. He added that AFSC does not require any employee to prove their heritage as a condition of their employment or in order to be valued as a member of our team. Now, the thing is, they may not require it, but they pretty much hired her because of it. So, some AFSC members have expressed concerns that Saraswati may be harboring a hidden political agenda and is working on behalf of groups that seek to undermine the group. Like, imagine if it's like some like 2D chess or 3D chess where she's actually like a plant to expose this group for like some crazy stuff that they might be involved in. So, an anonymous letter posted on Medium that the Intercept confirmed was penned by the members claims that after 9/11, Sarasti appeared on right wing TV shows where she was described as a moderate Muslim critical of Islamic extremism. We hope that this will catalyze further truth telling and accountability, the letter reportedly states, calling for the AFSC to investigate whether there are external entities with whom Saraswati is collaborating. A top AFSC official told The Intercept that people are concerned, adding that there's a fear that she could be an agent because she started her career right wing. She was a token Muslim voice in that milieu, and she never publicly apologized. Yeah, just wow, crazy. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to avoid retaliation. Imagine the trauma of people who confided in her, trusted her, and shared sensitive information about their work and about their lives, thinking that she's a fellow person of color, the leader told the outlet. And now, all of a sudden, it's a white woman with a right wing history. It's scary, the source said. Well, added. So Saraswati did not respond to multiple requests for comment from The Intercept, and apparently she says, I assure people that as soon as I am capable, I will provide answers to the recent discussion and attack on me, she wrote on Facebook on Saturday. I understand all the reactions you're having. I am currently taking the time to get to where I can answer in a way that is most helpful and thorough. Well, the thing is, well, I don't understand, right? It's like, hey, you faked your ethnicity to basically get into a specific job. It's like, just say what you did and then move on, at least in my mind. So Soroski's case is reminiscent of that of a notorious race faker, Rachel Dolezal, a former NAACP chapter president in Spokane, Washington, who falsely posed as a black woman in 2015. Her Caucasian parents presented her birth certificate and a stack of blonde, green eyed childhood photos as proof of her true racial identity. And more recently, Republican Long Island Rep. George Santos has been caught in a web of lies, including claiming that he is Jewish, later insisting that he meant he was Jew-ish. Media commentator Sana Saeed first brought up Sorosti's identity 2015 when she tweeted, "Can we talk about Raquel Dolezal in the Muslim community? Y'all know who I mean." And Saeed told The Intercept that the Sorosti controversy puts a sharp, bright light on the DEI industry itself, referring to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Did AFSC not vet their candidates like Raquel? She said. Let's see some of these comments. Being white is a disadvantaged group these days, that's why I don't blame her. Being a total fraud is not a disqualification. Let's see. This is what happens when labels are more important than qualifications. When it comes to work, we need to stop checking boxes and treat all equally. If you can do the job, that should be the only thing that matters. But the funny thing is, she literally checked off every single box. And that's why she was pushed so hard into getting into that job. Let's see. This person says, I don't disagree with you, but she had bought so far and deeply into the DEI mythology that she appeared to be actually doing a good job. The real issue, IMO, is how we are setting up and funding, to great expense, all these groups who really don't do much to help anyone but those who run the groups. Look at BOM. They collected millions and millions of dollars from gullible corporations and everyday white guilt citizens, and instead of helping black folks, BOM's leadership used the money to help themselves, buy multi-million dollar homes, and support their criminal acts. Let's see. Labels are qualifications in this particular field. Race, gender, and identity are slowly losing all meaning. People should be proud of their heritage instead of competing to out-victim each other. While societies should celebrate different cultures, in the workplace, merit and hard work should be what gets someone a better job. Interesting. First, gender dysphoria, now ethnicity dysphoria. I'm beginning to think there's something in the water. The thing is, what's going to be funny is that there's going to be more and more cases like this propping up or popping up, like a pop up ad. And it's going to be kind of funny to see because you're basically going to get a lot of people who probably too like truly believe in the whole woke ideology to the point where they basically get brainwashed and they truly believe everything that they're saying or doing and they think what they're doing is right. But it's going to get really weird. It's going to get really weird for a lot of these groups as well because you're like, wait a minute. So now we are going to accept basically the opinions of people that we basically insulted all the time and don't respect all the time because now they're basically doing blackface in a sense. and are faking their ethnicity and are taking jobs away from people of color, etc. Like, it seems just kind of funny, you know? It's gonna get really bad though. And this person says, if you're free to choose your gender, then you should be free to choose your ethnicity. This sounds like a solid case of cultural appropriation to me. Why aren't the woke libs all over this? A little darker makeup, and she could have thrown in black as well. This is what you get when you make judgments about people based on race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or gender. Having to make up a fake identity in order to be the right fit for a job is no prettier on the left than the right. The left has become consumed and entangled in a jumble of racial, ethnic, and sexual jargon filled web that is every bit as dangerous as the white nationalists. Common sense consensus in real serious discussions regarding these important topics are the victims. She represents a mental disorder that seems to be quite common among Democrats. A white person who hates their own heritage, skin color, and fellow white citizens. They feel guilty about something and to different degrees try to atone for it. I really wouldn't care except they insist that we all atone for their guilt. Please go away. Now, what's interesting is like, I kind of feel like this is potentially the case in this scenario. Now, personally, I mainly think that this is mainly for her trying to get money and just feel more important. But who knows? It might be this one where it's more of a mental disorder where she literally just hates herself and her white skin because she's crazy, you know?